The pickaxe bit deep into the sun-baked tower, sending a cascade of red earth tumbling like an avalanche in slow motion. Jack Harlan, ex-Navy SEAL, muscles coiled from years of relentless training, felt the vibration shudder up his arms. Something metallic clanged beneath the debris, not the hollow echo of termite tunnels, but a solid, unnatural resistance. He paused, sweat tracing paths down his scarred forearms, breath steady despite the isolation of the Namibian savanna. At 45, Jack had chased shadows across continents, but this mound, towering 12 feet like a cathedral sculpted by insects, had mocked him for weeks from the edge of his remote ranch. He'd bought the place 2 years back, a deliberate retreat after the service spat him out, seeking silence where discipline could rebuild what missions had eroded. Now, that clang demanded answers. Wiping dust from his eyes, he swung again. Chunks flew. A seam widened, revealing a rusted edge protruding like a forgotten tooth. His pulse quickened, not fear, but the hunter's instinct reigniting. What buried itself here, defying time and termites? If this edge-of-your-seat discovery has you hooked, hit that subscribe button, like this video, share with a friend, and drop a comment below telling us where you're watching from. Let's build this community together. Jack wedged the pickaxe under the metal lip and heaved. The mound groaned, a section collapsing inward with a puff of ancient dust that caught in his throat. He coughed, stepping back, then peered into the cavity. There, wedged in the compacted soil, glinted a steel canister, its surface pitted but intact, stamped with faded markings. U.S. Army Air Forces, 1954. 70 years sealed away, untouched by the relentless march of the desert. He knelt, gloved hands tracing the contours. No explosion of relics, just this lone artifact heavy with implication. Jack's mind raced through protocols drilled into him. Assess, secure, report. But out here, 200 miles from Windhoek, reporting meant questions he wasn't ready to answer. The SEAL in him whispered caution. The man whispered curiosity. Prying it free took precision, each lever a test of patience against the mound's grip. "Alley," it yielded, thudding to the ground at his boots. About the size of a footlocker, latched shut, no visible locks. He dragged it to his Land Rover, the engine's rumble the only sound breaking the vast quiet. Back at the ranch house, a squat bunker of concrete and steel, he set it on the workbench under harsh LED lights. The latches resisted, corroded tight. Jack fetched his multi-tool, the one that had saved him in a dozen extractions. Click, snap. The lid creaked open, exhaling a dry, metallic sigh. Inside, nestled in decayed foam, lay a leather-bound journal, yellowed maps, and a small sealed vial of dark liquid. But dominating the space, a stack of photographs, edges curled, faces staring out from grainy black and white. The first image seized him, a squadron of pilots posing before a B-29 superfortress, grins defiant against a backdrop of endless dunes. Jack flipped to the next. The same plane, belly torn open mid-repair under a jury-rigged tent. Notes scrawled on the back in pencil. Emergency landing. Nav systems fried, locals hostile, cache secured. His jaws trembled slightly, not from age, but recognition. He'd flown over these very coordinates on ops, the Namib's skeletal jaws reaching for the sky. But 1954. Post-war tests, whispers of classified flights probing Soviet edges. Jack spread the maps, hand-drawn grids marking Site Alpha, coordinates matching his ranch to the yard. Paragraphs in the journal pulled him deeper. Captain Elias Thorne's script, precise yet frantic. Crew down to 3, fuel gone, buried the payload to keep it from scavengers. If we don't make it back... Jack's SEAL training catalogued the subtext, survival logs masking desperation. Thorne's entries chronicled fevers, arguments, a betrayal hinted at in crossed-out lines. He set the journal aside, eyes on the vial. Opaque glass, corked tight, label peeling. Prototype stabilizer. No chemist, but Jack knew restricted manifests from Black Ops. This wasn't standard issue. The photos escalated. One showed Thorne and a Namibian tracker, faces tense, shoveling earth over a larger crate, right where the mound now stood. Dawn crept through the shutters as Jack pieced it together. The termite mound hadn't grown over random dirt. It had claimed a deliberate grave. Thorne's plane vanished from records, chalked up to "lost over Atlantic." But here was proof, hidden not just from enemies but from history itself. A low rumble outside snapped him alert. Headlights pierced the dust, uninvited. Jack's hand went instinctively to the Glock holstered at his hip. Through the window, a battered pickup rolled up. 2 men inside, locals from the nearby village, faces he recognized from supply runs. The driver, older, with a braided beard, stepped out, gesturing toward the mound's ruins. "Mr. Jack," he called in accented English, voice carrying unease. "You dig the big house of the ants. Bad spirits wake now." Jack opened the door, stance neutral but ready. "Morning, Elias. Just clearing land." The elder, Elias Mbuva, named after the captain, shook his head, eyes flicking to the rover's cargo bed where the canister peeked under canvas. "Not just ants. My grandfather told stories. White men came long ago, plane from sky. They buried secret. Ants guard it. Now you break." Jack's mind whirred. Psychological play, probe without revealing. "Stories are just that. What secret?" Mbuva's companion, younger, muscled, shifted uneasily. "Grandfather saw. Helped bury for the flyer. Said it bring curse if touched. Others come now. Men from city asking questions." Tension coiled. Jack noted the youth's fidgeting hands, the elder's steady gaze. Not threats, but warnings laced with agenda. "Others? Government men. Heard you buying land here. They watch." Mbuva leaned closer. "Give it back to Earth, Mr. Jack, or trouble D's you." Jack nodded, expression impassive. "Appreciate the concern. I'll handle it." They drove off, taillights fading into the haze. Alone again, Jack returned to the canister. The journal's entry chilled him. "Payload unstable. 1 breach, and the sands claim us all. Coordinates etched on vial cap. Trust no one." He examined the vial. Tiny numbers etched there. Precise, lat long, his exact property line. But why hide it in a mound? Termites built fast, eternal sentinels. By midday, Jack had scanned the documents, emailing encrypted copies to a trusted contact stateside. An old handler, retired like him. Response pinged quick. "Stand down. That's Cold War ghost. Feds will want it. Stay put." Stay put? Jack's blood itched for action. He buried the canister shallow in the ranch's storm cellar, rigged sensors, motion, seismic, from his SEAL kit. Then, back to the mound site. Shards of metal winked amid the rubble. He sifted, unearthing a dog tag. Captain Elias Thorne, serial matching the journal. Psychological weight pressed. Thorne's crew, did they walk out or fade into the desert? Jack pocketed the tag, gaze sweeping the horizon. The government men loomed in his thoughts, shadows lengthening. That night, under stars like shrapnel, Jack pored over maps by lantern. Site Alpha marked a vein of uranium deposits, Namibia's hidden wealth, coveted since the 40s. The payload, not a bomb but a stabilizer for experimental drives, whispers of early nuclear tech. Thorne buried it to prevent rival hands, Soviets, locals, anyone. A distant engine growl yanked him upright. Headlights again, this time multiple vehicles kicking gravel. Not locals. Jack killed the light, slipped into shadow. 4 men disembarked. Tactical gear, no markings. 1 barked orders in Afrikaans-tinged English. "Fan out. The American dug here. D the cash." Jack's breath evened. Adrenaline sharpened edges. He melted into the darkness, circling wide. These weren't feds, mercs, private contractors chasing black market intel. The young local must have talked. From cover, he watched them probe the mound's corpse, shovels flashing. Tension built, heartbeat sinking to their steps. One neared the disturbed earth. Jack's jaws brushed his knife. Then, a shout. "Tracks to the house! Move!" They piled into vehicles, engines roaring toward his ranch. Jack sprinted parallel, ghosting through scrub. The storm cellar, his line in the sand. Bursting into the compound, he armed the outer defenses. Trip flares, non-lethals. Headlights flooded the yard. Mercs piled out, weapons low but ready. "American, we know what you found. Hand it over, no one gets hurt." Jack's voice boomed from the dark, amplified. "Wrong address, fellas. Turn around." Laughter. Then floodlights swept. A figure advanced. Leader, scarred jaw. Thorne's ghost thought the same. Ants didn't save him. Jack's world narrowed. Thorne didn't fade. He fought, just like now. The first merc lunged toward the cellar hatch. Jack triggered the flare. Blinding burst. Chaos erupted. Shouts, stumbling. He flanked, takedown silent, zip ties biting wrists. But more poured in. Gunfire cracked, suppressed, professional. Jack rolled, returned fire precise, dropping two non-fatally. The leader vanished into the night. Silence fell, broken by groaning captives. Jack secured them, mind-racing. Who sent them? The vial's etchings burned in memory, deeper secrets underground. As dawn broke, chopper thuds echoed distant. Real feds inbound? Or worse? He glanced at the canister, Thorne's journal beside it. The past clawed free, demanding resolution. Jack shouldered his pack. Time to vanish into the dunes, uncover Site Alpha before the hunters closed in. The sun dipped low, casting elongated shadows across the Namib's endless sea of dunes. Jack Harlan moved like a spectre, boots sinking silently into the hot sand. Every sense sharpened, ears attuned to the whisper of wind, eyes scanning for unnatural ripples in the landscape. The hunters were out there. He could feel their presence, a prickling at the base of his skull honed from years in shadowed ops. His pack bounced lightly against his back, the canister and journal secured inside. Thorne's words burned in his mind. Site Alpha holds the key. Buried truths that could shift empires. 70 years sealed away, now unearthed by termite architects. Jack crested a dune ridge. Below, a dry riverbed snaked toward distant mountains. Coordinates from the journal pointed there. Site Alpha, a forgotten outpost from the war's fringes. Footprints, fresh ones veering parallel to his path, not locals. Too deliberate, too spaced for a nomad's gait. Jack dropped low, belly crawling behind a thorn bush. Binoculars out. Two figures, tactical gear, moving methodically. Mercenaries, corporate retrieval, or worse. Government shadows chasing echoes of colonial secrets. He waited. They passed within 50 yards, radios crackling faintly. Signal from the mound confirmed. He's got the artifact. Jack exhaled slow, slid down the reverse slope. No time for direct confrontation. SEAL training kicked in. Evade, observe, strike only when odds tilted. He altered course, paralleling the riverbed at a distance. The journal's sketches replayed, crude maps of underground chambers, labeled Project Veil. Thorne, a British engineer, had overseen it. Hidden payloads from a forgotten conflict meant to vanish forever. Night fell swift in the desert. Stars pierced the velvet sky like distant warnings. Jack hunkered in a hollow ration bar in hand. He flipped open the journal under red-filtered light. Pages yellowed, ink faded but legible. Day 47. The device assembled. Power beyond reckoning, veiled in lead to contain the glow. Site Alpha secured. If compromised, initiate protocol echo. Erase all traces. Jack's jaws traced a symbol, a coiled serpent. Namibian law or code? A low hum reached him. Engines, distant but closing. He buried the light, scanned horizons. Headlights flickered. Vehicles navigating the dunes with tech he lacked. Drones. He needed higher ground. Pack tight. He pushed on, muscles burning from the relentless trek. The mountains loomed closer, jagged silhouettes against the moon. Dawn broke with a vengeance. Jack reached the riverbed's end, where rocky outcrops clawed skyward. Site Alpha's marker, a weathered obelisk, half buried, etched with faded insignia. British colonial pre-independence. He circled, cautious. No obvious entrances. Journal noted seismic charges to reveal shafts. Improvise. From his pack, he pulled det cord remnants. SEAL habit, never travel light. Wired a small charge to a fault line. Backed off. Detonation muffled by sand. Crack. Dust billowed. A seam split in the rock face, revealing a black maw. Inside, cool air rushed out, stale with age. Jack clicked on his headlamp. Corridors tunneled deep, reinforced concrete crumbling at edges, footprints, old boot prints from the era. He descended, pistol drawn low. Walls bore murals? No, faded diagrams, blueprints of spheres humming with implied energy. Voices echoed ahead. Sector clear, fan out. The hunters. They'd tracked him faster than anticipated. Jack melted into shadows, pulse steady. A side passage branched left. He took it, silent as death's approach. The chamber opened vast. Center, a pedestal, shrouded in dust. Beneath, a larger canister, twin to the mound's D. Jack approached, wary. Lid sealed, but gauges flickered faintly. Power. After 70 years. Thorne's protocol loomed. He cracked the journal again. The heart of Vale, contained force, eternal if undisturbed. Breach at peril. Footsteps multiplied. Flashlights stabbed the dark. Jack positioned behind crates, rusted relics. 4 men entered, geared head to toe. Leader barked, accent South African. "Harlan, we know you're here. Hand it over. Clean exit guaranteed." Jack's voice cut sharp from shadows. Guaranteed by who? The ones who buried this nightmare? Laughter echoed cold. Nightmare? This is fortune, old man. Tech from the archives. Worth billions. He weighed odds. 4 on 1. Coned space. But seals thrived in asymmetry. He lobbed a flashbang improvised from chem lights and powder. Bang, blinding burst, shouts. He surged, takedown first, knee to groin, elbow strike. Man down, zip-tied silent. Second spun. Jack sidestepped, palm heel to throat. Gurgle. Third fired wild, bullet ricocheted, sparking panels. Jack closed, disarmed with a twist. Leader charged, knife flashing, parry, grapple. Jack head-butted, stars exploding in vision. They tumbled near the pedestal. "Stop!" Leader gasped. "You unleash it, we all vanish." Jack pinned him. "What is it, Thorne's toy?" "Lost energy source. Colonial experiment. Unstable. Powers cities, or ends them. Truth hit like dune collapse. 70 years hidden for reason." Jack bound the last, dragged them to a side alcove. Canister hummed louder now. Disturbed. Gauges climbed. Red lights pulsed. He had minutes. Journal's protocol. Echo. Overload circuits. Collapse the site. But the mound's D, small sample, hinted at revolution. Clean energy or weapon veiled? Distant rotors thrummed, reinforcements inbound. Jack rigged charges around supports, backed to entrance, detonators synced. If you're gripped by Jack's race against time in the Namib's secrets, smash that like button, subscribe for the full unraveling, share with a friend who'd chase these dunes, and drop a comment. Where are you watching from? USA, Brazil, or right here in the desert? Detonation sequence armed. Jack sprinted up the shaft, sand cascading. Boom echoed subterranean. Tunnel buckled behind. He burst into daylight, rolling down scree, but the hum followed. From his pack, the small canister vibrated, warm. Echoes of power stirring. Sight Alpha gone, but the heart beat on. He vanished into dunes anew, hunters scrambling in chaos. The chase evolved. Not just retrieval now. Containment. Thorne's serpent uncoiled in his mind. What had he truly freed? Miles out, he paused at an oasis mirage. Real water, Himba nomads nearby. Traded intel for silence. Old place shakes, Elder murmured. Spirits angry. Jack nodded. Pressed on toward Swakopmund, coastal haven. There, contacts from old ops. Decode the canister. But paranoia gnawed. Was Thorne ally or architect of peril? Night 2. Camp minimal. Sensors perimetered. Sleep fractured by dreams. Glowing spheres. Dunes swallowing armies. Dawn brought tracks anew. Closer. Persistent. He pushed harder, legs leaden. Journals Al entry. If found, trust no flag. The veil protects all. Jack ditched non-essentials, canister priority. Swakopmund neared, German colonial architecture amid dunes. Safe house, nondescript bungalow. Inside, ally waited, ex-MI6 Lena Voss. Sharp eyes, sharper questions. Jack, rumors fly. You stirred the catacomb. He placed canister down. Thorne's legacy. Site Alpha imploded. This survived. Lena scanned with Geiger. Wait, no. Custom meter. Needles danced. Active. Fission echo, fusion ghost. Namib's war scrap but alive. Hunters breached town perimeter. Jack sensed it. Analyze fast. Evac in 10. She nodded, prepping spectrometer. 70 years. Termites gnawed mound, exposed it. Thorn hid power independent of fuel. Game changer. Door splintered. Breach team. Muzzles flashed. Jack dove, returning fire precise. Lena covered, vials shattering. Data downloading. Exchange brutal, cover scant. Jack winged one, dropped another. Lena hit pressure point on third. Leader from Alpha, same voice. Surrender the core. Grenade rolled. Jack booted it back. Blast shook walls. Escape window, back alley. They fled into streets. Canister secured. Swakopmund's tourists oblivious. Dunes called again. Deeper wilds. Data partial. Innate yield. No waste. Thorn's miracle. But instability noted. Overheat threshold. Pursuit relentless. Vehicles roared. Jack split from Lena. Windhook relay. Go. Alone. Canister heavy. He trekked inland. Brandberg Massif target. Ancient etchings. Sanctuary. Third night. Storm hit. Lightning cracked, illuminating pursuer's convoy. Jack rigged traps, pitfalls, flash diversions. One vehicle plunged. Canister warmed dangerously. He cooled it in sand. Visions plagued. Thorn's log. The mound seals fate. Breached, it hunts. Dawn 4. Massif base. Caves beckoned. Inside, San rock art. Serpents mirroring journal. Deep recess. Natural vault. He placed canister, jury-rigged stabilizer from SEAL kit. Gauges stabilized for now, but echoes outside. Helicopters. I'll closure? Jack emerged resolute. The D wasn't treasure. Burden. Thorn's resolution. Bury deeper, or harness wisely. Hunters closed circle. He vanished into granite folds, plan forming. Not end, reckoning. If this pulse-pounding chase through Namibia's secrets has you on edge, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, share the thrill, and comment your guess. What powers the canister? Watching from where? The dunes whispered secrets as Jack melted away, the past's claw unrelenting. Jack gripped the canister tighter, its cold metal biting into his palm like an old enemy's grudge. The Namib desert stretched endless, red dunes folding into the horizon under a merciless sun. Termite mound rubble crunched under his boots as he pushed forward, heart pounding a steady war drum. 70 years sealed away, and now it mocked him from within those rusted walls, faint etchings of faded insignias, a hum vibrating through his jaws that no desert wind could explain. He dropped to one knee behind a jagged rock outcrop, scanning the emptiness. No shadows moved, but instinct screamed otherwise. SEAL training never faded. It etched into bone. The canister weighed heavier than its size suggested, powered by something alive, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat buried too long. He twisted the sealed lid, muscles straining, but it held fast, mocking his efforts. Flashbacks clawed in, black ops in shadowed valleys, decisions that echoed in sleepless nights. This D wasn't coincidence. It pulled at threads he'd long tried to sever. Sweat traced paths down his temple. He wedged a knife blade into the seam, prying with controlled force. A hiss escaped, not air but a whisper of contained energy. Inside gleamed a compact core, wires coiled around a crystalline heart, glowing soft blue. Documents fluttered out, yellowed paper brittle as forgotten promises, schematics, blueprints from 1953. Project Echo, a classified test from Cold War skies, a drone prototype lost in a storm over these very dunes. But notes scribbled in margins told darker truths. The power source, experimental thorium cells, unstable enough to warp compasses for miles, hidden to erase traces of a near catastrophe. Jack's breath caught. His father. The signature at the bottom. Captain Elias Kane, USAF. The man who'd vanished on a routine flight, chalked up to mechanical failure. Jack had grown up on stories of heroism, medals pinned to a ghost. But these pages revealed orders to abandon the prototype, to let it vanish into the sands. Elias had refused, burying it deep, termites claiming the mound as their fortress. A AL act of defiance, sealed with a warning. Power like this devours its keepers. The hum intensified, the core flickering brighter. Jack's hands trembled, not from fear, but recognition. This was no treasure. It was a Pandora's echo, a relic that could rewrite histories or unravel them. Governments would kill for it, or bury it deeper. He thought of his own scars, missions where orders clashed with conscience. Destroy it? Hand it over? The dunes watched, indifferent judges. Footsteps, faint but deliberate. Jack snapped the lid shut, shoving the canister into his pack. He melted deeper into the rock shadows, body low, breaths measured. A figure crested the dune, lean, tactical gear, ill-suited to the heat. Not local, hired muscle, eyes scanning with professional hunger. Jack's mind raced. Satellite imagery? Leaked cords from his own careless dig? The past never released its grip without a fight. The intruder paused, sniffed the air like a predator. Jack circled wide, using the wind's howl for cover. 20 yards, 10. He lunged silent, arm locking around the neck in a sleeper hold read over decades. No excess force, just enough to drop the man limp into the sand. A sat phone tumbled free, screen glowing with incoming encrypted calls. Jack smashed it under heel, sparks dying quick, but more would come, always more. He dragged the body, unconscious, breathing steady, into a crevice, binding wrists with paracord from his kit. Questions later. For now, survival. The canister burned against his back as he crested the next ridge, aiming for his jeep 2 miles out. The hum synced with his pulse, a siren call urging recklessness. Night fell swift, stars piercing the velvet sky like shrapnel memories. Jack hunkered in a dry wadi, fireless, poring over the papers by penlight. Elias's last entry. If found, do not activate. It promises endless energy, but chains the soul. Choose freedom over power. Jack's father hadn't died in a crash. He'd walked away, faked the loss to protect the world from Echo's hunger. Reinvented as a drifter, dying quietly decades later, Jack's own fragmented childhood now pieced into truth. Tears? No. Just resolve hardening like desert glass. The core's glow tempted. Visions of fortune, redemption through revelation. Sell it to the highest bidder? Expose the cover-up? But seal code whispered clear. Some secrets guarded the innocent. He pried the core free, its light bathing his face in ethereal blue. I'll glance at the schematics committed to memory. Then with steady hands he dismantled it. Wires snipped. Crystal cracked under boot pressure until only inert shards remained. Dawn broke as he reached the jeep, the canister now a hollow shell. He drove hard, dust plume trailing like a confession. At a remote outpost, he mailed the documents anonymously to a trusted journalist contact. No return address, no traces. The shell, buried miles from the mound, under rocks marked only in his mind. Let the sands reclaim it fully. Weeks later, headlines flickered. Lost Cold War tech unearthed, warnings of unstable power ignored. No names, no heroes, just ripples. Jack stood on his porch in Montana, mountains guarding his silence. The claw of the past loosened, not gone, but dulled. He poured coffee, watched the sun rise clean. Elias's choice echoed his own, freedom carved from restraint. The hunt for him faded, shadows dispersed. Jack rebuilt, mentoring vets in quiet ways, sharing skills without the weight. The hum silenced forever in his ears. Some powers demanded burial, not unleashing. If this tale gripped you through the dunes and secrets, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications like for more cinematic thrills. Share with a friend chasing mysteries. And comment below, what relic would you unearth next? Watching from where tonight? Jack stepped into the light, unburdened, the desert's whisper now his own steady breath.